Terminator Resistance on the PlayStation 4. This is video number 4, apparently. My last video ended somewhat conspicuously because there was a surge in my surge protector, apparently. That's the reason it's here. I mean, God forbid this PlayStation 4 actually blew up because my surge protector didn't work. To be honest, it does that. It seems to do that at least twice a year, if not 3 times a year these days. Could be a whole bunch of things. Or it could be crappy power supplies. Would not be shocked. I mean, I almost lost one of my DVD recorders due to one of those surges, so that can't go well. On a related note, we're shooting spiders. Guys, apropos of nothing, I was reading the Wikipedia article for this recently. It's like, I guess this game was poorly received when it came out for reasons I can understand. Like, it's kind of not like, it's not exactly packed with content, you know what I mean? Like, it feels very much like a budget Fallout 4 wannabe. It is. Got him. Who else wants some? I mean, in a world where Fallout 4 can be purchased for like $5, kind of hard to justify spending a whole bunch of money on something like this. Unless you feel some kind of way about Bethesda games, I guess. I mean, does it have fewer bugs than Bethesda games? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's all relative if you think about it. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm saying this game is like a C+ at best. Maybe it gets slightly better later, I don't know. Like I said, it's not exactly packed with content. It's a lot of this. Skulking around, just kind of whittling down enemies. I mean, I guess you could crank up the difficulty level. Okay, I thought there'd be another spider scout around here. We'll take out the spider tank. Full ammo's good. We're gonna need this anyway. Not that. Almost dead. Now he's dead. Works for me. I mean, the game, there are environmental cues about, like you'll see, like, graffiti on the wall that says, hey, here's the weak spot for the spider tank, but it's like, all I have to do is just pump it full of lead and it goes down anyway, so, I mean, why even bother with the tactics? Again, this game doesn't have a VAT system or anything. I would argue it's just a first-person shooter. It's a stealth-action first-person shooter. Except it arguably, I mean, I would argue it has better shooting than Fallout 4 does, because Fallout 4 is not a shooter. It's a pausable real-time. It's a first-person game where you explore, but once you see combat, you can activate the VAT system. But as a game where you like have to target enemies with guns without using VAT, it's not particularly good. Give me that. But if you're talking about a game like this, where you're just running around and shooting things, you know, this works better as a first-person shooter than Fallout 4 does. Of course, Fallout 4 is just objectively a better game in every way. I mean, come on. And what are we doing here? Like, Fallout 4 doesn't need, you know, first-person shooter mechanics. It's you know, I guess the best way to describe it is it's a first-person exploration game. But yeah, sure. You can try playing as a first-person shooter, but you're just wasting a bunch of ammo. It's far more efficient to use the VAT system to target enemy parts and shoot them that way. But I mean, it's like Fallout 3. If you want to waste a bunch of ammo, sure, treat it like a first-person shooter. You're wasting your time, though. I mean, I want to say maybe the rockets are useful if you play as a first-person shooter, but again, I'm technically not impressed with. As much as I love the Fallout games, they aren't really good about first-person shooting. That's not why the games exist. The first-person mechanics are just there so you can. They're just a way for you to interact with the world. But it's basically there to set up the VAT system instead of having a top-down world with instead of like the original, the first 2 Fallout games had a top-down world, right, or an isometric world with a VAT system. Or they just put it in a 3D world, but the VAT system serves the same purpose. Targeting specific enemies. Targeting specific parts of bodies with particular weapon types that do particular types of damage. I mean, you could treat Fallout 4 as a first-person shooter. I just think it would make it too trivial. Because you spend a bunch of time trying to tweak the mechanics and the AI so that it works like a first-person shooter. And again, as a first-person shooter, Fallout games don't really work. Or at least the 3D Fallout games don't work that way. Enemies are just bullet sponges. And there's not a lot of tactics to it. I mean, obviously it's not a game about, you know, circle strafing enemies and bunny hopping them. That's not the kind of game Fallout 4 is. It's a lot more tactical than that. That's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like those games, because they treat them like first-person shooters and they never get that satisfaction that you get from a good first-person shooter. I mean, for someone like me, I'd rather play something like I'd play something like Borderlands 2 than most first-person shooters. Not that those games were all that tactical either. Borderlands 2 just works as a basic, like, first-person shooter. Like, it gets that part right. So I don't complain about those games at all, really. But like, I've complained about Borderlands on this channel before. The first Borderlands, to me, is a proof of concept, but it's not much of a game. You waste too much time shooting at, you know, tiny enemies that skitter around. Like, you spend too much time shooting at swamp rats, basically. It's just lame. But I think Borderlands 2 is a better mixture of, like, shooting.
Not a good sign.
Like, it's a better mixture of shooting and looting. I just think it works better. And so, I mean, I'd much rather play the Borderlands, well, Borderlands and the pre-sequel. I'd much rather play those games than most first. I mean, look, I've been sitting on Doom, the 2016 version of Doom. I've been sitting on that game for like 3 years. I can't be bothered to play more than an hour of it. I just get bored of it. I think the best way to describe it is because it's just a first-person shooter. The only thrill I get out of it is, okay, I'm circle strafing and bunny hopping. There's probably more to it than that, but I don't really like using any of the guns in it. I don't want to experiment with any different weapons because I only have 2 guns to play with. And I remember when BioShock Infinite came out, the complaint from some people was I'm just juggling 2 guns and they're boring guns, and that was my complaint with Doom, to be honest. There's a shotgun and a pistol, and you can charge them up. But other than that, you have to really like that kind of first-person shooter to play more than an hour of it, and I don't. And apart from all of the existential crises that some, you know, journalists were having because they felt that they had outgrown the Doom experience, like, people were, you know how people are when it comes to video games. It's like some people who really liked playing these types of games when they were younger loved Doom 2016. I didn't. But I like that. I'd much rather play Doom 2016 than the original Doom. I'll just say that straight up. I mentioned this in previous videos. I don't like using a mouse and keyboard. I don't like mouse looking in video games. I'm not comfortable mouse looking. So any game that requires me to use a keyboard to do basic stuff just doesn't interest me because it's too cumbersome for me to do that crap. But when I play Borderlands 2, or I play something like this, or I play Fallout 3, I don't have that problem. I can start shooting right away. I don't spend any time, you know, ducking and dodging and circle strafing or anything. It's just incredibly easy to do that stuff in those games. So Doom 2016 worked. So I guess you could say Doom 2016 was the first Doom game I've ever wanted to play. Because I remember I played the first 2 games on PC. I owned them. I bought them because I thought I would like them. I had a Pentium 100 when I bought Doom in the mid '90s. I had a Pentium 100. I just didn't like playing it. I think I might like. I still have the Unreal Tournament CD around here somewhere, but my brother played that more than I did. He was probably just save scumming through the entire game because that's how I used to play Doom, of course. But I mean, if the game had dual stick controls, I would definitely play it. Like, I want to play the Switch. I want to play the Switch version of Doom, like the original, like, PC Doom, the one from the '90s. I think it's part of the Slayers collection, but it's a digital-only collection, so I'm not gonna bother with it. Like, I think you have to, like, sign up for a Bethesda account. Uh-oh. It is. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, I'd much rather play, like, a Doom remake with controls like this. Like, dual stick controls are the way for me to play games like Doom. And like, I played Quake when it came out back in the late 90s on a Pentium 2, was it? I think it was a Pentium 2. It might have been like a 450 megahertz Pentium 2 back then. But again, I couldn't really get in. I wanted to like it. I mean, it was the first game I ever played. It's the first game I ever played with a LAN. It wasn't a LAN. I played on the internet against people. I lost, obviously, because I didn't know what I was doing. But again, Quake is one of those games where if you didn't like playing it when it came out, and you didn't grow up with it, it's kind of hard to go back to now. Like, I might go back and play it later, because I did a bunch of death matches in that game. But I'd be lying to you if I said that I'm particularly compelled to go back and play it now. It's, I mean, again, you have to like, you know, a game where you circle strafe people with mouse looking and bunny hopping, and I really don't. That's not my jam. And that was the thing that Borderlands 2 I think got right, is that I'm probably going the wrong way. I'm sorry. I'm running in circles. I apologize. But that was the thing about Doom. It's that when the original Doom came out, it was basically a tech demo. As a game, I don't know. I mean, you didn't even have to aim high or low. The game had auto aiming, so I mean that certainly wasn't a problem. The game ran at 35 frames a second, by the way. So let's not kid ourselves. What's the point of mouse looking in a game where the frame rate's only 35 hertz? You know what I mean? I mean, you did it because it seemed like a perfectly reasonable way to control a character. But nowadays, people are used to mouse looking. I'm sure that's how people play most video games on PC these days. Like I said, never got comfortable doing that crap. I'm just not comfortable using, you know, WASD or arrow keys. Like, I don't like using 4 fingers to move a character. I prefer using 2 thumbs. That's just me. I wonder how... I remember I mentioned this game had an unlocked frame rate, so it probably plays better on the PlayStation 5. Of course, it looks like this, so if you want to play this at 60 frames a second, be my guest. But you might want to do it. Like, I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt. Maybe the higher difficulty levels, it makes them more playable. But then there's the other obvious problem, which is, again, would you want to spend $50? I mean, this game is not full price, is it? Like, if you told me this was a $20 game, I believe you. Like I said, we live in a world now where, you know, Fallout 4 cost $5. So I mean, yeah, if you're sick of playing Fallout, you could play this. And of course, yeah, it has the thrill of being a competent Terminator game, of which there are very few. Like, I never played the original Bethesda Terminator 2099 or whatever. Like, I never played the original Bethesda game, obviously.
Looks like they were keeping an eye on an old university hospital not far from here.
Silverfishes?
They must have moved on to that hospital. All right, I've got everything. What's the status on that factory? Colin? Can you hear me?
He's dead.
Colin! Shit.
Or he's being like Ace in that G.I. Joe cartoon. I can hear you perfectly fine. It was like Lifeline. I can hear you perfectly fine, Ace. I was just ignoring you. His name wasn't Lifeline. It was, what was the name of the other guy? Lifeline was the medic. What's the name of that guy in the Germ episode? I can hear you perfectly fine, Ace. I can hear you perfectly fine, Ace. I was just ignoring you. And by the way, germs don't have nerves. It wasn't Lifeline. Forgot his name. Yeah, Lifeline was the medic with the glasses and the red and white jumpsuit. The guy in the Germ was the well, let's say he was the big nerd. He was the big nerd who was bald, as I recall. The tech bro, I guess you could call him. Pour one out for Roger Slifer. He was one of the better ones, trust me. Just a second. Nah. So where are we headed? Well, another safe house. That's always good. Maybe we're going back the way we came. There's nothing in the crafting table I need. And again, like, I don't think I could play a first-person shooter and... Ooh, pipe grenades. I don't think I can play a first-person shooter unless it had dual-stick controls. Like, I can't even play Skyrim on a keyboard. I can't even be bothered. I keep telling myself I'm gonna try, but I'm like, and it's like, why go through the frustration of trying to play Skyrim on a keyboard just to teach myself, when I can just play the game normally and have way more fun and with way less frustration? You know what I mean? It's like I have to lower the difficulty level just so I can get comfortable playing Skyrim on a keyboard. So it's like, look, I'm not that old. I'm old enough to care. I'm old enough to be bothered. I'm old enough to know better than to waste my time, really. Video games have moved on. It's not like... It's like learning how to play video games with a joystick. Like, what's the point? I grew up with joysticks. I'm not going back. Sorry. I prefer dual stick controls. D-pads I'm fine with. Joysticks can't be bothered. Like I said, I broke my knuckles playing Street Fighter 2 and all those Neo Geo games, and games where you had to move in a particular direction. If you chose the wrong direction and your brain wasn't properly calibrated for a joystick. Like in Street Fighter 2, if you don't calibrate your brain to hold down and back properly, then you think you're blocking, but you're not. You're crouched, but you're not blocking, and you die because you thought you were holding the proper direction and you weren't. But when I play with a D-pad, I never have to worry about that. Sticks, I'm somewhat accustomed to using sticks. Let me reload. Okay, I'm running out of ammo. Not dead yet. Down. Shoddy. That worked. Shoddy's overpowered in this game, I think. I think we're good. Like, what are the oldest first-person shooters I have that aren't on PC? Like, I can pull out Unreal Tournament, but if I can't use a gamepad, I'm not even gonna bother playing it. I would pull it out because I can play it on one of my oldest laptops, which is fine. It wouldn't even require Steam or anything. I'm pretty sure my my dual-core laptop can play it at 60 frames a second, no problem. That's the good thing about old video games, is that unless they're Crisis, games from the early 2000s run pretty well even on laptops. I keep saying I'm gonna play Sacrifice, that old Shiny Entertainment game. I think was it a real-time strategy game? Like Sacrifice is supposed to be one of the best PC games ever made, but again, I mean, I'm not like, there's this whole gap in PC gaming that I never experienced. Like, I used to follow PC gaming a bit in the early 90s because some of the video game magazines would cover games like Soldiers of Fortune and Rules of Engagement, which I think was a 4X game or a tactical RPG. Like Aqua Ventura, I remember seeing pictures of it, and I think I've barely even seen YouTube footage of it. I think the game barely runs at 30 frames a second. Aqua Ventura always fascinated me when I would watch. I would see videos. I would see screenshots of it. I'm like, this looks interesting. It's like Defender, except you're flying around in a 3D world, like a low polygon world. Like, it looks like, although the art was cleaner than Star Fox. Like, imagine just shooting at, these spheres. Instead of shooting at really ugly looking, animals, you're shooting at spheres, which to me just seemed like a better look. Like, imagine like being like a triangle, like a triangular looking spaceship shooting at spheres. Except the spheres were reasonably well dithered, I guess. They weren't using dithering, were they? They seem decently shaded, I guess that's the best way to describe it. Yeah, Aqua Ventura was a game by Psygnosis. Like, I would, like, was it, oh no, we're not gonna leave that. Find a set of tools? Guess I missed something. Give me a second. So they're over here, so I guess I missed them. Okay. So we'll just hop back over there right quick. Like, I don't think I uploaded the video for, hey dude. I don't think I uploaded the video with Painkiller. I'm gonna put it up this Halloween if I haven't already. Painkiller is a very laptop-friendly game. I got the Steam version. Stupid. Why are the mannequins here? Target practice, I guess. Because someone made a comment in passing back at the camp. It's like, yeah, you're using these mannequins as target practice and they're creepy. But obviously someone found like a wrecked Rodeo Drive fashion shop and decided to steal a bunch of mannequins for target practice, I guess. They're running away. Not that I'm complaining, but they're running away. Yeah, I can use my pistol. Get at me, dog. Spider. Na-na-na. Who's next, Spider-Man? Yeah. Dream on, Spider-Man, as Lisa Mazza once said. Sorry, Detective Elisa Mazza. We'll talk about my headcanon about Elisa Mazza being having to tell Goliath to stop complaining about wanting his land back. Because, you know, the Nigerian Navajo police officer has opinions about the land back, I guess. Hold on. Are we going up? I think I've already been here. I think I have already been here. No spiders, though. Decals. And the decal. It's a self-healing it's a self-healing T1000 CRT monitor. Boy, those things were indestructible back in the day, huh, kids? You could throw those off a building and it would smash a person's skull and it wouldn't take any damage. That motion clarity, though. Do not get me started on CRT. Look, like I said, I'm not like most nerds. I kept my CRT. I kept my last CRT until like 2015. And the only reason I got rid of it is because I found it. The only reason I got rid of it is because I got another HD monitor, and I don't miss my CRT at all. It was a super VGA monitor, I think. I played Shadow of Mordor on it. I played Rocket League on that CRT monitor. I'm not sitting here missing the CRT monitor experience. I went the wrong way, I guess. Okay, I have to crawl through that thing. Give me a second. I'm gonna crawl through that door again. So I missed this thing, apparently. So I have to backtrack this whole way. Oh, Lord. Well, as long as the spiders didn't respawn. Too bad there's no fast travel system in this game. Too much trouble for this poor Unreal Engine 4 video game, right? At Borderlands, I think Borderlands 2 uses Unreal Engine 3, right? Yeah. So Unreal Engine 4, I think, was the PS4, Xbox One friendly version of that engine. And Unreal Engine 3 was what what BioShock Infinite was using. So all the Xbox 360 games and the PS3 games were probably using it. Hold on. So I guess I could shoot that. Do I get plasma out of it, though? Okay. Guess no one heard that. He heard it. Clack, clack. So I didn't get any plasma from the plasma container. Oh well. He's hiding. Haha, he's scurried. Look at him scurry away. Some Terminator you are. Someone brought a big can of Raid. And now he's attacking me for reasons. He will try to tase you, but you know how it is. Not a real Terminator. But yeah, I've been playing this game for like 3 hours. It's a long time to wait for like actual Terminators. I mean, they're gonna show up later because apparently the game's trying to build. The game is trying to build to the point where you would actually get a real Terminator. Here we go. We got a sandbox area coming up here. I'm gonna need my shotty eventually. How many we got? Okay. Let's see if we can lure the spider scouts out of here. Then we'll bring the spider tank around. But they were probably scurrying back to warn the spider tank. Or at least just scurrying away out of trouble. Darn it. Get my other gun. I don't think I did much damage with that. Not really a fan of the Uzi. He'll find his way around here eventually, so let's see what we can do here. There aren't too many places to hide. Yeah, he's not coming this way. That 1:30? Yeah, 2 o'clock basically. Give me the loot. I'll take all that. I haven't bothered to use any of this. I haven't run out of space yet, have I? I've somehow not run out of space in my inventory, despite having 2 of the same assault rifles. I still want to lure. Yeah, I probably can't lure him over here. Let's see if I can get him to. If I can get him to hide. If I can get him to hide in the doorway here, I can make this work. Barely hitting him. Yeah, barely hit him. So he's coming around. Let's see what he actually does. There he is. Yeah, plug him through the car. Here he comes. So he won't come any closer. Alright. Got him. There he goes. So I needed to whittle him down, but he wasn't going to follow me out of his patrol area. Don't be absurd. What kind of video game do you think this is? He's not going to leave his patrol area. I mean, come on. I played Deus Ex Human Revolution. I know what's up. Screw you, Fisher. We're not coming in there.
Maybe I'll find a set of tools in there.
Screw you, Fisher will always be the meme as far as I'm concerned. For games like this. Yeah. You can still lure him. But what I'm looking for is in here. Guess no one heard that. I'm trying to take them on one at a time, but they're scurrying around too much. Let's jump them. Wrong button. Didn't mean to do that, but here we go. They can't jump, can they? Because no, they can't jump in Fallout 3. Scurrying away. That was a crit hit. That dexterity bonus, though. Alright, so we got them both. We did good. See, that wasn't so hard. I'm starting to think this game might be too easy. I might have to crank up the difficulty level. That brings up a whole other conversation about how hard the AI is. Yeah, that's all it was. Just a little tangent. A self-contained area with a spider tank and 2 scouts. Like I said, there's a lot of this. This is basically the experience. This is basically the bulk of the experience so far. A lot of this. I wonder if Stalker's like this, that Stalker PC game. Surprised never made a port of that. It's probably too unwieldy to make on consoles. I would argue a PlayStation 4 version would be great, but they'll probably never do it. So just remake it and play. Actually, no, I think it was made in Ukraine. It's probably not going to happen. The whole point of it is that when a Metro was made, no, was it Metro 2033 and all those games? Those games were made with proprietary game engines, proprietary software. And eventually, they just kept remaking them with much better graphics. Like the original version came out, then they remade it for the PlayStation 4, and I think they remade it for the PlayStation 4, and modern GPUs, modern video cards. And I think they had a slightly better engine, as far as like, it was a more robust game engine. So they remade those games for a more robust game engine, because that was a game where the original games were basically made for like the PS3 and the Xbox 360 from that generation. Then they remade the game and they re-released it for like the PS4. And I believe I downloaded both games. I downloaded demos for both games. They might have been free. And I know I made videos for both of those. I remember like the first game being kind of slow. It was like a slow and deliberately paced anthology, basically, with a few jump scares. Then the sequel comes out and it's basically just run and gun, which I thought was interesting at the time, because I remember I was playing the two games back to back. I wasn't really compelled by Metro 2033, I believe it was called, which I believe that was the first game, was Metro 2033, which is very much like an anthology. But then Last Light came out, and that was the sequel. Like I said, that felt like more of a run and gun game. Find a set of tools. Did I not find the tools? Well, I mean, they're here in the area, because, you read this, look at this mini map, and it means they're in this blue area somewhere. Just don't be picky or specific about what they are. I probably have to blow these up. That's probably where the tools are. Give me a second. I'm calling it. I gotta blow up a wall. Hold the L1 button. Oh, I got a bunch of firecrackers. Press the, right on the D-pad. Press right on the D-pad. So how do I throw it? I haven't had to throw dynamite before. Give me a second. We did that. R1. Again, I've never had to do that. That worked. Did they have like C4? Because I only had 2 clicks of dynamite until recently. Whack. Nah. Press the triangle button. I never use melee weapons in this game. Never use melee attacks. Rattle the bones. Maybe I could have just gone this way. So I wasted a whole stick of dynamite. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. No jump scares. Chemical compounds I need to make certain kinds of ammo. That. 1:30? Nope. 11 o'clock? 11 o'clock. But again, like I said, I think Metro 2033... I do own Metro 2033. I own one of those games. I forget if it's Metro 2033 or Last Light. But I want to say Last Light did have a pretty good benchmark, in the sense that there's like a really like challenging, there's like a really busy area of the game. Like basically the way the benchmark works is that it basically takes a camera and just moves it forward down a tunnel, and there's some really heavy activity in a particular part of the game, in a particular part of the benchmark. So the whole point is, I cannot fast travel, can I? But the whole point of that benchmark is to see, in the heaviest combat, like when there's a lot of gunfire and explosions going off, can your computer hold 60 frames a second during this one really challenging, stressful part? Because if it can, it means you're going to be able to play the rest of the game just fine. But I think the whole point of that benchmark is just kind of establish the idea that, yeah, here's a stress test. How well can your computer hold up? The game apparently isn't that good. I mean, I played the demo. It's not that good, but you do get the satisfaction of knowing that you paid like $2 or $3 for one of the best-looking video games of its era, which it kind of was. Metro 2033 was apparently one of the best games of its era, but it's extremely dark and downbeat. Like I said, it's very moody and atmospheric, but it's also very boring. Let's be honest, it's extremely freaking boring. Which is what Jim Stephanie Sterling was saying about whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Wasted another med kit. I held down the triangle button. I should not have. It was what was the most recent game? The one that came out in the Xbox Series consoles? Because there was a ray traced only version of that Metro game. It was the open world Metro game. Was it Metro Exodus? I remember the complaint was not an ounce of fun to be had, which I think was his way of saying they tried to play the game for. I think it was their way of saying they tried to play the game for more than 5 hours, and Sterling never really got into it. I don't blame him. I can't imagine getting into this game, and then I mean, if you liked this game, but you thought that the Metro open world game was boring, well, there you go. I mean, I don't know what to tell you at that point. Like I said, I shouldn't have eaten that med kit, but whatever. So I can't fast travel. Or maybe I can try. No, I can't fast travel. Alright, so how do I get out of here? I gotta go that way. So I guess I could hit that save. I can hit that save point and then end the video. So we'll head over here. Let's head over to the far. We're gonna hike over to the far eastern side of the map. We're probably not gonna run into anything, so that gives me more of an excuse to ramble. I've gotten in maybe like 7 fights, and 2 of them have been spider tanks. I ain't saying much. So we're going east. And remember, you can sprint unlimited. You have unlimited sprinting, no stamina management. Take that, Dark Souls. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of a first-person shooter I would play that's older than Borderlands 2. Like, Perfect Dark, I need to play Perfect Dark, because I did play the death matches, and I did like those death matches in Perfect Dark. I did a bunch of videos where I was playing Perfect Dark, I was doing Perfect Dark death matches on the Xbox One. Again, dual stick controls, as God intended. GoldenEye might be okay. I mean, again, I already own the Rare Replay disc, but Microsoft being Microsoft, of course, they're like, oh yeah, if you own Rare, we don't care. You're going to have to buy the digital version of the Rare Replay, or you're going to have to get on Game Pass if you want to play the remake of GoldenEye. And let's be honest, if there were no AI, not going that way. There were no AI, death matches in GoldenEye, so if you're not going to play with any human beings, then I would argue there's no reason to play the death matches. So now I remember the mission-driven gameplay was interesting. I mean, everyone remember, if they played GoldenEye, they remember the first stage where it's like, yeah, you can jump off the dam right away if you want, or you can go into the dam and do a whole bunch of side quests. Like I think the game had a mission-driven, had an objective-driven level design. But the objectives you had to complete were based on the difficulty level. So on the easiest difficulty level, you would like jump off the dam like in the movie. But on the harder difficulty levels, you had to like break into the dam and like clear out a bunch of stuff. Like it was a very nice touch, I thought. The idea that you can just kind of do the simplest objectives or do the exploration and hunt for stuff and complete harder missions and fight like larger mobs and things like that. Like that I did very much like, but I barely remember that. I barely remember GoldenEye. Because the last time I played it was a very nasty experience for me, because I played it on original hardware with an original hardware at a sibling's house, and I could not. I spent half an hour fiddling with all the controls trying to find a control set that worked for me, and I never found one. I don't know how I played that game as a kid. I remember my siblings saw me play it. I spent an entire spring break when I was in university. I spent an entire spring break visiting one of my siblings. I owned a used copy of GoldenEye. I probably spent like 15-20 bucks on it. And someone unlocked all the stages, so I just did like a content tour. I went through every stage, and I beat almost all of them. But I remember spending like half an hour on the final stage. You know the one where you're like on the hanging platform, and and there are turrets on the platform. You constantly get shot off.
Where are you? Can you hear me?
So that didn't go very well.
Be quiet. I'm following that guy. Something's not right about him.
Okay, we're gonna end the video pretty soon, so we're gonna tease the next video if I even do it. I might do one more video. But yeah, I try to think of what's a first-person shooter I would play that's old. Like I said, Perfect Dark's pretty old. That's a late '90s game. But again, that was remade with dual stick controls. So I'm willing to play that. I think I still have Forsaken 64, which is shockingly good. Again, I'm astonished at how good the controls are in that game. I don't know. I don't know how much time they spent calibrating those controls for the N64 controller, but forgot. Like I said, hats off to those blokes. I don't know how they did it. I did not think I'd ever play an N64 game, an N64 shooter that I would play twice. Because I used to own Perfect Dark. I'm not sure I can play that game on an analog stick.
What the? No!
Nope.
Colin! Talk to me, Colin!
I guess we're going to tease the next part of the video. How are we on bullets? This is as good as it gets. We need to make more bullets, I guess. No map, huh?
God damn it.
Uh-oh. Hey, it's Ezio. Yes, that dude from Assassin's Creed.
Jacob Rivers, marked for termination.
Not particularly good animation on that, but here we go. It's gotta be a Terminator movie, so you gotta have a truck smashing a Terminator.
Are you alright? Jacob? Jacob!
So I guess Colin stuck around. So I guess this sounds like a good excuse to end the video. I mean, I guess I can go through the next batch of cutscenes. Standard weapons can't damage Terminators, of course not. So Michael Biehn was pretty good with this shotgun, as I recall. For release, call a phone number with no area
They found
code.
me lying in front of our hideout. I made it out alive, but not all of us did. Colin's dead, and the stranger I saw is nowhere to be found. I told them about everything. I said that it wasn't safe for them to be with me. But Jennifer suggested that right now, nowhere is safe, so we might as well stick together. Everyone pulled through as we prepared for the worst. But nothing happened.
Jacob? Are you awake?
How long have you been sitting there?
Not that long. I know that you're going to that hospital today, so I went on my first scavenging run. And I found something for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you go with your sister?
No. As soon as Erin heard that there's a hospital nearby, she asked Jennifer to go look for some medicine. So, I went alone. Don't tell her that, okay?
She's already at the medical district?
Yep. Oh, and Ryan wanted to talk to you.
Is he gonna
Heat
scold me
from
for
that
getting
plasma
killed?
rifle cauterized the wound. That's why he's not bleeding. But damage to the skin made the burn prone to infection. That's what we need to worry about.
Wow, you're really smart.
I learned all that before the war. And thanks to Judgment Day, I didn't even have to pay off my student loan.
There's a message there somewhere. We got a bunch of ammo we're gonna have to craft eventually. So I guess I'll have to talk about more first-person shooters I'm still willing to play later on. Just not in this video. I'm playing a lot more of this game than I thought I would, but it's not really adding up to much so far.
Morning. Patrick came to me earlier, asking if I thought you'd like his present. When I saw that it was a single bullet, I wasn't sure if he was being helpful, or if it was a warning. I figured he didn't appreciate you looking at his sister like that.
Need help with anything?
Do you need help with anything?
No, I'm fine. I had to learn to do things by myself for quite a while, sweetie. Now, tell me, what did you really want to ask me?
Okay, let's just end the video here. We'll be playing more Terminator Resistance, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.